good morning, if it applies to you, and welcome everyone. Um, for now, I just have one quick note. This session is pre-recorded, so we're gonna listen to a 10-minute video, and then Kumar will be here to answer questions live. So if you have any questions during the video, please feel free to fire away and put them in the Q&A session or in the section or in the chat, whichever you prefer. Or once the video is finished, turn on your mic, which is fine as well. But for now, enjoy the video and yeah, enjoy.
Hi, welcome to Fire in India session. This is Kumar Satyam. I work as Senior Interactive Architect at Philips and also lead the HL7 India Technical Committee. So let's get on to the journey of digital health in India. So as I say, journey has just begun. And the notable milestones are like the National Digital Health Blueprint in 2019, which emphasized the use of FHIR R4 in data exchange in Indian healthcare, and National Digital Health Mission, which actually implements some of the recommendations of the blueprint and the National Health Policy. So let's see what is National Digital Health Mission. So National Digital Health Mission is trying to build an ecosystem of digital health in India, which would comprise of patients' health IDs, registries of doctors, registry of facilities, and then a PHR network and an EMR network. So let's talk about what is a PHR network. So Government of India and NDHM envisions patients to control the data. So patients should have access to all the data that belongs to them, irrespective of where the data is generated. So patients should be able to access, share, exchange, and control the life cycle of the data. So that's what the NDHM envisions, and the PHR network enables it. What is it important in terms of FHIR? The documents that are exchanged, the medical records that are getting exchanged on the PHR network are FHIR bundles. So right now, to start with, there are four FHIR documents, four documents which are FHIR compliant bundles, which are in scope. They are prescription, diagnostic report, OP consultation, and discharge summary. Uh, NDHM profiles can be found on the NRCS website below. So let's move on to what is HL7 India doing. So HL7 India actually works on promoting the HL7 standards and building the manpower and helping the implementer community in India. So HL7 India undertakes a lot of different initiatives and activities, and some of the activities are building awareness through open houses, having community engagement through FHIR meetups, and then do some kind of volunteer projects where we get some outcomes for the community, and do trainings and do connectathons likewise, right? So let's talk about the FHIR India Connectathon. The FHIR India Connectathon was first ever connectathon to be held in India on FHIR in July 2020. What makes this connectathon special was the amount of participation that we got in the first event. It was like 83, more than 83 companies participated, 225 plus participants, and there are some notable outcomes that came out of this connectathon. For example, there was a teleconsultation platform that was built, and which was completely envisioned and based on FHIR. So we'll talk about that later. This connectathon actually also brought together the FHIR India community and the academia and the government institution and also the global community together. And that's how it was a good success for the first ever event, right? So, and it was actually not a 2-day or a 3-day event. The event was actually started from 30th May and culminated on 5th July. We called this time from 30th May to 2nd July as the pre-connectathon, but actually it was that long. So Let's talk about the fire-based teleconsultation platform that was developed in during the Connectathon. So the need was, can there be a marketplace like ecosystem which allows patients to reach out to uh, any providers to seek teleconsultation? And this was specifically in the case of COVID situation, but it can be scaled anywhere, right? Without needing to go through an appointment. And can this be done all through FHIR? So that was the use case. And the team, the track, actually envisioned everything and I also went ahead and built a prototype, which uh, has been detailed out in the white paper that is also part of the articles that are shared in the Vuva app. So essentially, it was like a, a patient provides their details to the TSO. TSO is the service organization who takes care of the patient. TSO takes the details and broadcasts the request to all the TPOs who are providing the service. Any one of the TPO takes locks the service that they are going to provide and they provide the service. And all this workflow was managed through the FHIR task resource. So that's the beauty of it. There is no appointment needed. It's only the demand and the supply. We are just making the marketplace. So what are the challenges in India when it comes to fire? So as I said, like still the biggest challenge is that uh, lack of awareness. So not everyone is aware, not all the stakeholders who need to be aware of fire and its potential are aware. And some are even skeptical, right? Well, it's a draft standard. We don't know whether it will follow, it will fulfill our Indian requirements. What if we need a change? All those kind of questions come to us and we address. But the thing is, the awareness is not there. So we have to work very hard on making sure that the awareness reaches to all the stakeholders. The second is actually helping the implementer and helping the developers. So for example, we found out that a lot of the folks who worked on V2 struggle when it comes to fire. They find fire challenging. Whatever they do, they are not able to scale up, right? It could be the skill gap or it could be whatever, but they are not able to, and they form the majority of the workforce. So that actually is again uh, one of the hindrances or challenges that we need to overcome. And then when somebody wants to get onto fire, they don't know where to start. There is no stepwise guidance given anywhere. So that's another blocker that people are facing. So as I said, there are opportunities. Opportunities are there since the government is mandating fire. There is need for data exchange, and the insurance sector may be a good proponent of or good evangelist for fire. Telemedicine, secondary use of data, and even the Fire India community. All these are good opportunities on which we can build and promote fire. So the scope and growth opportunities for fire in India is tremendous. All we need to do is come together as a community and work towards it, address the challenges that the community and the local implementers are facing. Sky will the limit. So what next? We have 1,000-strong community today of fire in India. Let's make it 10,000. As soon as we make the community 10,000 strong, we will have a wider reach, we will have a broader reach, and we will be able to reach majority of the stakeholders, help out the implementers, and help out people who are transitioning to fire from HL7. So all those things can be uh, taken care or can be addressed if we just try to take a focus saying that we will explode our community and from 1,000 we'll go to 10,000 in a year. And here is where we need the help from the entire fire global community, all of you who are listening to this session. So reach out to us, contribute to us in whatever fashion you can. Help us understand like how you did it better in your community, what we should be doing. And if you want to associate with us, please reach out to us. and we'll be more than happy to take the FIRE movement forward. Finally, I can be reached out on the Whova app in the speakers gallery. You can drop me an email. I am available on Twitter. I am available on LinkedIn. Please do connect with me. Let's take the FIRE movement further. Let's make FIRE a big success in India and the emerging economies. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, Kumar, thank you very much for your video. Clear message. I will just leave the screen on for a little longer because it has your contact details. Great that you want the FIRE community to grow this big, just tenfold times in a year time. Seems like a good a good aim. Let's hope that it's gonna work the way you say it's gonna work. For now, we already have 2 questions, so we should just move on to that. You can turn on your camera and your microphone. Then I will read you the first question, and yeah, you answer as well as possible. How can we take FIRE interoperability standards to the developer community in India?
So thanks for the question, and thanks, Walter, for the nice summarization. So first of all, yeah, it's a challenge, and we have taken up a goal that we will take the community from 1,000 to 10,000. It's an audacious goal, but that's the way that we see we can increase the adoption of FIRE in India. So coming back to the question, and the question is, how can we take FIRE to the developer community? Is that the question?
FIRE interoperability standards to the developer community, yeah.
Yeah, so there are, so one is to actually build a community, right? So reach out to as many people as possible and explain to them and talk to them about FIRE interoperability and what it solves, what problems it solves, and also about how it helps India. But that's one piece of it. The other piece is actually about listening or hearing to the developer community, right? So what are the challenges they are facing, right? Give them a platform, give them a place where they can actually talk to us, discuss us, and actually brainstorm and come up with what do you say, a solution or a proposal and ask for help, right? And the HL7 India, HL7 International, the FIRE community, and also all the people who are involved in the community needs to be actively listening to the developer community and supporting them and promoting them as possible, right? So it would require development of toolkits, trainings, maybe a marketplace where they can showcase their apps, a lot of things, right? But it all starts with a community, and first thing that we need to do is build a bigger and wider community.
Oh, I think that's a very smart move. Building a community is always a good way. That's why the global FIRE community is so big and why it works so well. There actually is a follow-up question to this question. So it was how can we take the FIRE interoperability standards to the developer community in India? And the follow-up question is how can we define an economic model for interoperability in India?
Yeah, so I think that the economic model for interoperability cannot be seen in isolation. So we have to see the economic model of digital health, right? What does it mean to have digital health ecosystem in India, right? What does it mean to have seamless access to my patient records? Or how can I be able to collate all the data that is available from various visits of mine and build a health chart for myself, right? So once we see the economics in the digital health, interoperability will be the enabling layer, right? So interoperability cannot be seen as in isolation. So it's what I say is it's like the plumbing layer, right? So you can build the nice swanky building or the house, right? But if you don't have the right plumbing, the building will stink and it is not going to sustain, right? But you can't have a business model just for plumbing, right? So you have to think about building the building, right? And in this case, the building is the digital health ecosystem. And when you do that, the need for plumbing will actually come in, right? And that's where I think that's how we have to build the marketplace or the economic model for interoperability. Isolation may not work because if I just say I need to send my patient records to Dr. X to Dr. Y, no one will be interested, right? But if I say, okay, if the doctor sees this, my fees get reduced or I get a better treatment, I don't have to go for rescans, right? So those things comes only when we build the complete digital health ecosystem. And
Yeah, so we got
Nablar, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to look at the bigger picture.
Right.
Then there's a question that actually is regarding the bigger community or is important when it comes to community. Does India follow the same clinical standards / terminology systems as used internationally or worldwide?
Yes, so we have, so India is a member of the SNOMED, we have the national license for SNOMED City. We do follow ICD and LOINC, and we do have our own extensions on top of SNOMED. So in essence, yeah, we do follow the international standards. But again, that we don't have a digital adoption yet. We are on the journey, as I said in my slide. So as we move forward, these standards will be adopted widely. But already the policy is there, the licenses are there, the community is working towards that.
All right. Then one more question. Is there already a cooperation with neighboring countries when it comes to implementing this?
That's a very good question. And I don't know whether we are neighbors or not, but what I have heard is like there is a very good collaboration between the Netherlands and India when it comes to implementing the PHR network, right? So there are collaborations. I'm not aware of all, but it's not the neighbors, but it's the global community. Wherever the best practices are, we actually work and leverage those global best practices. So one more thing that I wanted to say, Walter, before we end this session was that there is a meetup that I have set up, and that's tomorrow at 12 o'clock. It's in the Whova Meetups app gallery. So we have set up that meetup for an hour. Okay. So I hope the attendees today and anyone who is interested in the FHIR in India community or anything generic discussing on digital health in India, we join that meetup and discuss at length. So that's
tomorrow. Very good that you mentioned it. I forgot to tell that. I'm sorry. Yeah, for now, there are not any new questions. So thank you very much for your time. It was a clear presentation and a good call to the rest of the community to help everyone. And I want to thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Walter, and thanks everyone for attending. Some of the presentations or the articles which are of importance and which were talked in the presentation today or the session today are already shared in the Whova app. Please go take a look at it. And I'm available. And so one more request last time is do connect with us. And if you have done something good and if you think something is working in your community and you can tell us how it works in your community, please let us know so that we can experiment it, because we have an audacious target of reaching from 1,000 to 10,000 in 2021. And we need the support from the entire global community. Thanks. Thanks, Walter. Thanks, everyone, for attending. See you tomorrow.
All right. Have a good day.